I am here in Medjugorje and I'm with, what's your name?
Mary.
Mary, where are you from?
I'm from Ireland.
And you said second time for you here?
Yes,
And how is it to be back now?
wonderful.
What is Medjugorje for you?
The peace of Medjugorje. I always wanted to come to Medjugorje. As I always went to Lourdes. Before this, I've been to San Giovanni. I've been, but I always wanted to come to Medjugorje. And I came last year, and something drew me back again this year. The peace of it.
And you said, I think this, while we are talking, you told me the story about your daughter.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit and what happened here?
Well, particularly today, particularly this time, when I was doing the stations, I cried the whole way through the stations. I felt I wasn't sad crying, or I couldn't explain it really, but I felt Sinead was very close. I felt it was, because when I had finished, I cried at every station. Before, I cry out when the lady meets, when Jesus meets his mother, I always cry at that, a bit. But this time I was really crying. And for all of the stations, from the beginning to the end. But when I walked away then after the stations, I felt at peace. I met somebody, I was happy. I felt good.
You could let go, because we have to say you had one daughter and she died.
Yeah, one daughter, yeah.
And we do this video for people out there that they don't get depressed. What would you tell people how to get over a loss like this?
Oh, it's very hard. It's different for everyone. But I didn't get bitter anyway, even though my daughter and myself had a great relationship, and she said after, her friends told me after she died that she said, "Mum is not just my mum, she's my best friend,"
Wow.
So it was a big loss, but I didn't get bitter. Faith was, I have huge faith anyway, faith would have kept me together, and my family to keep going for them as well, because everybody was so sad,
So this, you could let a lot of pain go to do the Stations of the Cross when you cried?
Yeah, well, I think so. I think there was a lot happened there. I just, unbelievable now. I couldn't understand it. I just couldn't stop crying.
Yeah, me
tissue
too.
here.
Yeah.
I started pulling out the tissue, and it was wet with tears. That would be unusual for me. I didn't start the Stations of the Cross for this to happen, because I expected it when Jesus meets his mother. I always go, dear, shed a tear or two, thinking of Jesus and his mother. But this time it was just so different. It was different. It was just complete crying all the time. Just crying.
The grace of tears.
Shed buckets of tears.
But
And
you
I
left
had no explanation for it. And I was glad that none of my friends were with me.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody with me. People couldn't be coming around me and doing the stations, but they didn't see. It was evening time, so it wasn't bright. It wasn't dark, but the people just come and go. Nobody's passing much remarks of what anybody else is doing, only what they're doing themselves. You're concentrating on your own prayers. So, but I walked away anyway. Happy. Yeah. It was
liberated.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
Oh, absolutely. I felt very. If you would say why do you think it's Sinead? That's why I don't know. But it had to be Sinead. There's no other reason that I would have cried the way I did. I think, and particularly the stations, it's so sad. It's all so sad. But I can do the stations except the one, as I said already, that Our Lady meets his mother, or Jesus meets his mother, that. That always hurts me, or hits me, But this time it was a complete washout.
And I see you more in peace now, more in joy,
Sorry?
I see you more in peace now, more in joy.
Yeah. Well, I think it was something in that I'll never forget.
They call it here. I went through that as well often. At the beginning, like the grace of tears.
Yeah,
It's
but
a cleansing
you do
process.
at that time.
Yeah.
You said so much tears, but I thought that was gone. Like that, you wouldn't be crying like you do in the beginning. Like you cry so much, and then, as I said, I prayed a lot, and then I actually, the way I felt, I suppose, I said, why was my daughter that was taken? She was only after doing her leaving cert to start college, and I saw them coming out of the schools at home, and I said, why her? But then I said, he picked her out of the crowd. And that consoled me, that he done that, because she was a beautiful girl. She went out and enjoyed herself. Like she was no saint, you know. In the sense that she was a holy Joe, or like she went to mass, and she definitely did that all right. And like even she, as I said, she loved Lourdes. She absolutely loved Lourdes. She actually said she'd love to bring her friends to Lourdes. Very unusual. So, but no, like as I said already to you, I'd said the 5 days in Lourdes that I was just me, myself, and ourselves. The other times we were with family, and that was the best 5 days of my life.
Wow.
Because it was always sort of, we meet up for coffee, and that time cappuccino wasn't as popular in Ireland as it was there, and we'd have a cappuccino as a real treat, you know. So there's not that many people I will say this to, but I will say to, I don't think I say to my family, because they wouldn't understand. Like, they wouldn't want to. Well, they would think I was hurt by crying so much. So therefore, no point in me going to Medjugorje to cry. You know, that kind of way. So, but I know I feel. I definitely feel Sinead is not very far away. So she's quite close, and I hope it stays that way, you know.
I am sure, because you're full of love, and cappuccino lovers stay together all their life.
And a glass of wine as well, don't
That's
get me wrong.
beautiful. You know how that's we are Catholics, we
At night time we
celebrate
used to
life.
Then in the evening time, then we go on procession, and then we go back to the hotel and have our meal, and we'd have a glass or two of wine, and she loved that. She just did. She loved it. She loved life.
I see you too, you know.
She loved life. She really did. All of it. Whatever it was. Bring it on.
Looks, but you help so many people. My mother lost my sister, my father lost my sister and my brother, you know. And you're giving hope.
What age was you?
My sister 28, my brother 57.
It's very difficult. I don't know how people. I know this woman from home, and she lost two daughters. One, I think one was cancer, and the other was sudden death syndrome. I think it was with two different deaths, but inside of a couple of years. And that was around the same time as I lost Sinead.
Is it for you as well? For my mother, what helped a lot is pray the Rosary, stay close to the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah, my faith saved me. Like there was no question. Like it really did. Like I had met this girl I used to work with, and I used to be was going to mass and he was going to mass, whatever. Anyway, and met the husband then, and he said, "Mary, what do you get out of all these praying?" I just said to her. He got me on the hop, like. So what I did say was, how do you think I would have got over the death of my daughter without my faith? And thank God it came into my head, because there is no way that I would be ready for anyone to say this to me, like, what do you get? Because obviously he wasn't into prayer or into faith. But I wouldn't be blowing, like I wouldn't be shouting about the fact, I go to mass or I'll go to...
Like my mother did the same, she did not talk about this.
No, I don't like, I'm certainly not a holy Joe, definitely not, no. But I couldn't cope without my faith. Is that okay? Can I finish now?
This is so beautiful. Can I ask one more question?
And yeah, okay.
So you go to confession as well? Did
Yeah,
you go
I've been
here?
to confession, yeah.
Does that help in the process to
Yes.
speak things out?
Yeah, well, I actually was very strange when I went to confession. Like, when normally I'd say, well, I'll go to confession. But I was around the side of the church and I was just saying the Rosary. And one of the first day I was here, I think, and this priest came along and into one of the boxes, and there was 2 people in there. But they were in for a long time. And I kind of felt, God, maybe I'll go in. Like when the woman pointed to me and I was next kind of thing. And anyway, I was speaking, anyway, he came out, put his hand on my head and blessed me. Now, I didn't mention anything to the priest about losing my daughter. No, I didn't. I hadn't said anything. And he blessed me, and he blessed me, and he also put oil on my forehead. And I was talking to the woman afterwards that had been to the confession before me. She said she went to him a couple of years ago, and she couldn't believe it when she saw he was here again this year. So she was delighted, like something special about that confession, because I had no plan to go to confession that day at all. Like, I was going to go to confession at some stage, but it just wasn't. I wasn't the first day, like. But no, I was delighted. I got the priest.
Beautiful.
You know.
And what is we say after confession, when we are in a state of grace, we can receive the Eucharist.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand what is the Eucharist. Can you explain a little bit what it's for you?
Well, I do believe that you have to be in a state of grace, like, to receive Jesus, body and soul. I do believe that's it's powerful, like. But I'm not. I wouldn't be one to explain it to great, but I do believe I have. And I don't like going, I would say an act of contrition before I go and have communion anytime, because we all commit sin.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm not, I absolutely, and what I believe is that, like, unless you commit a mortal sin, you can receive Jesus by saying an act of contrition beforehand.
Yeah, it's beautiful how you say it. And then you can receive Jesus' body and blood and so on. Yeah.
Body and blood.
And so on.
And that has some so powerful. So a lot of the time, I say, God, I go to daily mass, like, so. I go to confession once a month. So I sometimes think, oh gosh, should I be receiving it all? Like, because, like, maybe we should go to confession a bit more and confess what we've done, and then confess something and then go and do the same thing over and over again. Like, it's well.
But what I learned also, when you do things over and over, often there's a spiritual wound behind it, and it needs to be healed, And if I want to ask you, the Rosary prayer for you, is that?
Oh, I love the Rosary.
I see that you are a prayer warrior. Why
love
that? Why the Rosary?
Now, going back years ago, I wouldn't, like, we said the Rosary every night as a child with my parents, and, like, after that, like, I was a teenager, and then, like, I always had the faith. I always went to mass, but Rosary wasn't a huge thing. Now, I can't get in enough of Rosaries a day.
Yeah.
Like, I love Rosary because I'm in the Legion of Mary, so we'll always have. So if I go to mass, do Holy Hour, that's another 2 Rosaries, and then the third, then the Legion of Mary. So that day I can get in 3 Rosaries. I think it's great. I love it.
And you feel peace, no?
Always. Yeah. Thank you.
And at the end, what would you tell people? Why come to Medjugorje one time?
Sorry?
Why would you tell people now to come one time to Medjugorje?
For the peace of it. Just come and just at peace. Like, I'm not, as you can see, hanging around with my friends. I do just do my own. I'm not. Nothing, particularly today, because we're going back in the morning. Like, I'm not. There's nothing particular. But each day, like, I just went up there. Maybe the first day the Rosary, then Stations of the Cross, Holy Hour. Then in the evening time, like. But I actually go to bed very early because I'm very tired.
Me too, because it's very intensive on the soul. No?
Very intense. Yeah, the heat and everything. So what I do is once I'd be meal in the evening. Well, I might come down there, yeah, for maybe a whole year after that, but I wouldn't be going out. Sometimes the girls would go off for coffee after that, but I don't think coffee late at night anyway because I can't sleep.
Really bad.
But I'd go home. I'd just go back and maybe just get into bed and maybe say a couple of prayers, maybe think about what happened. And
Wow, so beautiful. What
Yeah.
can I say? Thank you for this beautiful interview. Beautiful you did.